I welcome you all to the launch of Populii, an enterprise gig platform. It's a platform for enterprises and gig workers to collaborate and create faster and accurate AI driven solutions. We are all truly excited for this launch. It adds another feather to TechM BPA's already strong portfolio of solutions. Attendees, please note we are recording this session and its copy will be circulated soon. If you have any queries during the session, then please post them on the chat on the chat, and during the Q&A, we'll direct these questions to our speakers. During Q&A, if you want, you can raise your hands also, and then please unmute yourself and ask the questions directly. Now, I would like to give a warm welcome to Mr. Dhananjay Deshmukh, Vice President Crowdsourcing, BPA's Tech Mahindra, who will set the tone for this much awaited session. Dhananjay, please take over.
Thank you, Balwinder. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining this. Really excited for this launch event of Tech Mahindra's crowdsourcing platform. We got a full agenda for next 30 to 45 minutes from our side. Obviously, keep your questions coming. So just to set a stage on the agenda, we do have an external speaker, John Windsor, and I will introduce him soon. I know him for last almost 6 years. And then Biren wanted to join today, but he's under weather. So he was very excited and wanted to join really, but we actually asked him not to come on camera as well as not speak because he's sounding really bad. So Bharat will actually be taking the leadership questions as well as he will provide the reasons and why we are here with this crowdsourcing journey. Along with this, we do have Satish and Moti. They are the people who are behind the platform, which development started much before, but they have been in the thick and thin of it. So Satish will do the presentation part and Moti will do the demo part. So with this, what I want to do is I want to introduce John and bring him on and ask him to talk about himself as well as actual other, I call his views externally, what is the crowdsourcing world looks like and what this platform, why this is unique. So John has been a serial entrepreneur. He actually formed Open Assembly, which is a community of multiple crowdsourcing vendors, where all the vendors together, crowdsourcing platform partners can share best practices and learnings with each other and make the community world better for the future. He also has a new book coming out with Harvard Business Research on open talent. Now the crowdsourcing is an old word, so he will talk about open talent as a new paradigm which is getting popular now. With this, I hand it over to John for his words of wisdom as well as learnings from different crowdsourcing engagement. Over to you, John. Thank you and warm welcome from TechM side.
Thank you so much, Didi. I really appreciate it. And as Didi said, it's been a good journey Didi and I have had for lots of years talking about this stuff. And he's been part of the movement and been on all the calls. As Didi said, we just completed a book that comes out January 16th called Open Talent, Leveraging the Global Workforce to Solve Your Biggest Problems. And I'm really excited about this because, the goal really, could you change to the next slide? Is to create common language and a common process for the future of talent and work. I've been in this space for about 25 years now. I've started 6 companies, all using this concept of open talent. And one of the things that's been frustrating is there's so many great providers in this space, but without that common language and common process, I think we've gotten a little bit lost as an industry. And that's why I'm really excited to be here today, because I think I've talked to Bharath and Didi for quite some time now, and what you guys are going to see today. And I think this is a big step for not just for Tech Mahindra, but for the whole industry to create that common language and common process and make it more ordinary and boring. As my partner, Kareem Lakhani, who runs the Laboratory for Innovation Science at Harvard, likes to say, is this is going to all scale globally and become the paradigm for the future of talent writ large when this becomes an ordinary and boring process. And I think what Tech Mahindra's done today is going a long step towards doing that, making sure that it's organized and it's communicated in a way that everybody understands, and it makes it much more safe and secure. Next slide, please. So I hang my hat at the Laboratory for Innovation Sciences at Harvard. After doing a bunch of work commercially and starting a bunch of companies, I joined Kareem Lakhani at Lish. And Lish, it started do you have a question, Didi? I saw your hand up. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, okay, just wanted to make sure you didn't have a question. So Lish started its journey working with NASA to explore this idea of crowdsourcing. NASA had a budget cut in Health and Human Services of 80%. And so Jeff Davis, who was running Health and Human Services at the time, had to still do the same thing, and that was protect astronauts in space, keep them alive with only 20% of the budget. So Jeff went to Kareem and started exploring ways to how do we use crowdsourcing and open talent to really accelerate that, to be able to save money, to be able to do better work by getting adjacent knowledge, and it's gone fantastically well. Let's dive into some definitions. If we could change the next slide. What is crowdsourcing? Next slide, please. Now, there's lots of definitions. This is one that we like to use. Certainly, you know, it's been all over the place. Jeff Howe actually wrote a book in 2006 that I had the good fortune of helping him write called Crowdsourcing. He actually coined the term in an article that year for Wired magazine. And it was a real great focus point, really combining the ideas of outsourcing with the idea of crowd. At the time before this, when I was starting a few of my companies, I actually called this concept co-creation, like creating things with people outside of your organization. How do you create new things using the cognitive surplus of the world? And I think that's what we're seeing here. And today, this is a big step forward with what Tech Mahindra's built and ready to show you guys. Next slide, please. Now, in the book, I outlined several important things that we can think about. And one of the reasons we've been using this in NASA is there's diversity of input, there's accelerated problem solving. We've used a lot for idea generation. Certainly, there's an example I'll show next from the Harvard Medical School that we've done. Data collection and analysis seems to be accelerated. Everybody has heard of crowdfunding, and I think that's been a really important part of the startup ecosystem. Content and creation has been important, open innovation, and today we'll certainly dive deeper into microtasking and community engagement for rapid response and scalability. Next slide, please. Now at Harvard, we've had the privilege of working on unique opportunities in crowdsourcing, as demonstrated through our partnership with Harvard Medical School and organizations like NASA. And the collaboration extends to the medical school colleagues as well. They're dedicated to solving prevalent health issues such as cancer, recognizing cancer's unique, or not just unique, but universal impact. Our focus has been on pioneering research and developing technologies to aid in medical treatment. The medical school wants to share this broadly to empower healthcare professionals worldwide, from radiation oncologists in Mississippi to clinics in Africa, facilitating their access to advanced medical research and technology. Now, our foray into artificial intelligence has significantly advanced these efforts. We've concentrated on creating algorithms that can rapidly prototype solutions, enhancing precision and effectiveness of medical practices. A noteworthy application of this technology is in the field of oncology, specifically in tumor identification and delineation. Traditionally, doctors spend a substantial amount of time on this task, which is both costly and operationally inefficient. Our AI-driven approach streamlined this process, reducing the burden of healthcare practitioners and potentially transforming cancer treatment by scaling using crowdsourcing. The success of these initiatives was highlighted recently in a contest we conducted, where the solutions developed through crowdsourcing outperformed commercial benchmarks by 30% and matched the accuracy of an average group of 5 doctors. This achievement underlines the power of experimental research and its capacity to deliver tangible value in the medical field. We've applied these methodologies not only in technical challenges, but also in ideation and rapidly generating innovation solutions. Now, the next step for the medical school, which I'm really excited about, is working on using microtasked crowdsourcing to train the AI that we've created and that can be programmed in an MRI machine so the doctors in Mississippi and in Africa can use the technology and be as accurate and as good of a radiologist as the oncologist at Harvard, democratizing the expertise of the school's radiologists. And next slide, please. And what we've seen in the results are pretty astounding. We've looked at 314 examples of the things that we've worked on, and we see that, and it includes the NASA work and some of the Harvard work. And what we've seen is as good or better results, 4 to 5 times faster, and 8 to 10 times cheaper. Next slide, please. Now, what we've noticed when I started diving into the BPO and microtask crowdsource research that's deeper, I've come across some research by MTurk and Indeed on some projects they've run, and I've been really impressed. It's equal to what we found at Harvard from quality results, as good or better results. But what's blown me away is the speed to market which solutions can happen. And that's because you're talking about an always on team that works globally to find solutions, 95% faster and 7 times cheaper. Next slide, please. So we're seeing astounding results as far as, like I talked about, as results, but we're also seeing amazing growth in the marketplace, expansion of over 8 times in the next few years, in the next 8 years or 7 years now, from $2.2 billion to $17 billion. And I think this is a big opportunity space for everybody to get right. But again, without common language and common process, and companies like Tech Mahindra entering to create that kind of stability in the marketplace, this is always going to be seen as a Wild West that's a little bit disorganized. So I really welcome what's happening today. Next slide, please. So today, Tech Mahindra represents a step into the future of AI-driven business process and micro crowdsourcing, or microtask crowdsourcing, sorry. In my discussions with Bharat and Didi, I'm really excited to what you're about to see. Tech Mahindra's dedication to its core mission of challenging conventional thinking and innovating resources to drive positive change in the lives of their stakeholders and communities across the world is very impressive. And Tech Mahindra's commitment to innovating in this space will surely be seen as a paradigm shift for clients and workers alike, and will set a new bar for the industry. That's why I'm so excited to be here today. Thanks so much for having me, and I'll be available for questions later. Now back to you, Didi, and share some exciting details.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. So what we are going to do next is we are going to actually reveal the logo of Populii, and we will for that I would request Bharat to do the honors. Balvinder will play the logo, and right after that, Bharat will talk about why Tech Mahindra took the decision about entering the crowdsourcing, especially in the BPO world, and how this is going to change the entire capability for Tech Mahindra BPS. Sure. Over to you, Bharat, and Balvinder, if you can play the video. Bharat, over to you.
Thank you, Didi, and it's indeed a milestone moment for all of us here at Tech Mahindra with the launch of Populii. Super excited, and really looking forward to what we're going to do with this platform. So first of all, John, thank you. Thank you for your appreciation of what we're trying to do here, and also for the ratification that we're on the right track. Coming from someone like you, it's really heartening. I'm going to borrow that term of yours, open talent. I really liked it. So, I'm not going to use crowdsourcing in my discussion today. I love the term open talent. And in some sense, it's also pertinent to what we at Tech Mahindra are doing in terms of our strategy of a distributed workforce and a distributed delivery model, right? What do we mean by distributed delivery? I think a lot of us in the BPO world have spoken about being able to leverage talent in terms of delivery models and operating models, in terms of working from office or working from home. Obviously, all of us have seen that channel grow exponentially during the pandemic. But really, for us, a distributed delivery model means something more. What it means is that while we continue to focus on bringing exciting and relevant talent into our organization, how can we go where the talent is, right? How can we go and tap into skills, into capabilities, into talent where the talent exists, instead of insisting on bringing it into our network, right? And that really is the premise on which we have built our distributed workforce, our distributed delivery model, and that is really the platform on which some of our endeavors in open talent are really falling into place, right? We are obviously seeing that crowdsourcing as a lever clearly is growing exponentially. I mean, you spoke about the application in healthcare. We are seeing significant applications with some of our hyperscalers and enterprise technology clients. We're seeing demand in e-commerce. And so what's interesting is that the applications of open talent are really getting all pervasive. We're also seeing that obviously the pandemic has catalyzed that movement. And what is most exciting for us is organizations, our clients, our prospective clients, are now seeing open talent as a growth lever, which means we're seeing them leverage crowdsourcing in terms of new product launches, in terms of expanding into new markets, in terms of assessing satisfaction of their products and services. So clearly, what we're seeing is leveraging of open talent for growth. And I think, that is something that means that obviously the applications of open talent is going to be even more pervasive, right? What's also interesting is that, we've talked about AI-led disruption. I think this is one area where, AI integration and enablement is an imperative. It's a necessity. So we're not looking at it as an option, because if you have to reach talent globally, diversely, you're not going to be able to do it unless you disrupt it with AI. And therefore, for us, we have endeavored to build a platform that is inherently AI native and that will leverage AI, because it's not an option for us anymore, right? And so that's the bedrock on which the team has developed this exciting product, this exciting platform, Populii. As the Chief Capability Officer for Business Process Services, personally, I'm looking at 3 dimensions to what we're doing here on skill, right? The first thing is the platform itself, right? How effectively and efficiently is the platform able to collect data? How are we able to segment data? How are we able to manage the workflow? From the time we onboard participants all the way to payment. I mean, payment integration is a huge thing, right? So we are investing in collection, segmentation, and workflow. We're trying to build the platform end to end. What you're seeing today is version 1 of Populii, but we've got some exciting things in store in terms of how we want to take it forward. So that's the platform, part 1. Part 2 is, of course, everything around the environment, which is data security and privacy. A lot of clients come to us today, not because we are unique in our platform and our ability to crowdsource data, but because, given how global these clients are and given how global these exercises are, obviously being able to provide the right security, integrity, and privacy to what we do is getting all the more crucial, right? And obviously they want to leverage organizations like Tech Mahindra because we bring that sense of assurance. And therefore, we will continue to invest in the environment, and in strengthening and making our data integrity around the platform more and more robust, right? And lastly, and certainly not least, is the skills, the people, right? It's just, I mean, the kind of investments we are making in terms of the talent that we're bringing in to support this distributed delivery model and open talent in terms of technology skills, in terms of process skills. We are seeing some exciting times ahead of us. We will continue to invest in bringing the right people and the right talent to this, right? So the platform, the environment, and the talent, that's the three-pronged approach we are taking to actually building capability around Populi. So without further ado, I'm gonna ask Satish and Moti to walk us through the platform, do a short demo. But once again, super excited and super grateful to the entire team for making this milestone moment happen today. Over to you, Satish.
Thank you, Bharat. Good evening, everybody. Good morning. Um, we are in an exciting time in the crowdsourcing journey, and I think in terms of what we are going to see today, in terms of the platform, uh, you know, we have taken on a very ambitious task, and that's what differentiates us from the rest of the platforms that exist today. Most of the platforms do what we call today as your regular work, which is basically uh, which is basically the sorry, some issue with the. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
I think
No, so Satish, we are still seeing two screens, I think. So maybe, Balvinder, if you want to.
I don't have his deck, unfortunately. If you email me, I can.
Okay.
Any issues, please email me. I'll open it from my side.
No.
Yes, it's coming.
Is this any better?
Yes.
Yes.
Now we can see it. Please go on.
Yeah. Okay. Like I was saying, we have taken on a very ambitious task of disrupting the business process side of things. And what that means is all the platforms today are looking at doing micro tasks, which are easy to do both in terms of annotation, data collection, and so on and so forth. However, if you look at it from a BPO or a business process standpoint, most of the work that gets done today allows us to bring in our expertise across the entire gamut of the business process, starting from be it advising our end consumers on deep domain questions, on health related queries, and so on and so forth, to acquiring data, for AI related algorithms, which need data collection as a starting point. And given the huge amount of money that's being spent in training these data, John was talking about close to 22 billion by 2030. About 60 to 70% of that money is going to be spent in annotation. And so we have big plans on how this gets done for training the data sets as well. In terms of our platform capabilities and overview, while we have been at it for more than 10 years, our clients ask us some very key questions. One is obviously they want to know how big is your crowd, and second they want to know is what's the diversity of the crowd. Do you actually have the skill sets that we require? So what's imperative or the critical success factor in this platform is essentially the diversity of the community, and that's what we focus on. We have delivered about 1.8 billion transactions from from people in 160 plus countries across 80 plus languages. What that means is we are able to deliver services across the value chain. Now, when you look at the enterprises, what are they looking for when they come to a platform? There are three important things that they are looking for as solution. The first one is, can I get the niche skills that I want? Second is, are they scalable? Can I scale up and down at, as and when I need it? The next important one is, while you are bringing all of these things, how secure is my data? Like what Bharat was mentioning, how secure is my data? How are you making sure that, uh, you know, some of the protected data that I have, some of the PII data is taken care of, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the challenges that clients talk to us about, and that's what this platform addresses. When we come to freelancers, they are looking at this platform as a means of earning money, needless to say. However, what they are getting from Populi as a platform is they get access to the Tech Mahindra clients, the diverse clients that we have, the kind of work that we will bring for on the platform, and the continuous ability to earn money on our platform. Of course, all of this will not make sense if they are not if they're not aware of what they're earning. So one of the key features of the platform is they will be able to transparently see the amount of money that they're making on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, and they can encash it, whenever they want. Of course, like John spoke about, productivity is very high. We have seen up to 3x productivity compared to what we have done in the outsourcing market, and we have seen 20 to 30% faster time to market. Of course, these are based on our experience. In terms of features, while we enable them to do both human judgment related tasks as well as procedural tasks, we already have custom workflows that's built into the platform. We have pre-built UI templates. We have automated some of the workflows. From a community management perspective, there are rule-based engagement, which makes sure that when we segment the community for a particular kind of job, we know exactly at what level this the people that are eligible to the jobs are existing. And so accordingly, the work distribution can happen. And all of this is going to be AI driven. And that's the beauty of the platform. When it comes to automation for text annotation, we already have a pre-populated template. If you have annotated one text at once, then every time it recurs, it'll automatically populate that. If you look at it from an image perspective, if you annotate the first image and the last image, it does the sequence automation. And in terms of videos, if you do one bounding box on an object, which is running for, let's say, 2-3 minutes without much changes, you only do annotation of certain frames, and then the rest of the bounding boxes get done automatically. So I've done some of the automations. Now, this is not all. Like Didi was mentioning, there is a roadmap that we have, which includes making this a mobile-enabled platform. We are also looking at bringing in, more payment partners onto the platform, and then there are also other pre-built annotation tools that we have tied up with, which will be integrated on the platform. So there's a lot to look forward to in terms of features. And then, of course, the industry standards in terms of ISO certification, we are there with that. When it comes to rich insights, we leverage all our in-house tools as well. And then the most important thing for our clients is, the ease of collaboration. We can easily tie into their platforms. So the annotators or the gig workforce can work on Populi, but they can also, through Populi, work on the client platforms. And this is an important feature that our clients really like about this platform. Let me quickly talk about the 3 operating models, because we are moving from a outsourcing mindset to a crowdsourcing mindset. And like any change that customers need to adapt, we have worked across these three models. The first one is the crowd unmanaged, which this is basically work which is very simple to do, simple tasks that once you give it out, people with very limited skills are able to do. Like for example, drawing bounding boxes, like for example, identifying objects on a screen, anonymization, all of these things can be done on this project. And needless to say, it's the most competitive from a price point for our customers. The second model is a crowd managed platform where comparatively it's a little bit more expensive, but this is where Techem has worked with clients to bring in some of the quality frameworks that we usually adopt in our outsourcing projects in order to make sure that there is stability both in from day one. In terms of delivery, we identify a panel of quality experts who will then make sure that the quality doesn't drop. And these are some of the value adds that we can deliver for our clients in this model. The third one is the most interesting one, which is the augmented model. And this is something that's used for more critical and complex tasks, which require not only domain knowledge of the work that you're doing, but also specialized skill sets. And when I say specialized skill sets, it might be native language skills plus knowledge of linguistics in a foreign language. So when those kind of jobs come on the platform, we provide the expertise through in-house resources to kickstart it. And that's where our ability to get the best of both worlds from a crowdsourcing as well as outsourcing really helps our clients. Now, the biggest element that a clients will choose one of these models is also driven by, let's say, if you take any business process today, there is a lot of data which is sitting on their ERP systems, and there are access restrictions. All of us know that in the BPO world. So when you are looking at accessing such systems, it can only be behind a firewall with restricted access and so on and so forth. So we think that about 50 to 70% of a business process function can still be crowdsourced, but the remaining part of it will remain in an augmented model with in-house resources to make sure that the data privacy, the data security is managed, and we meet our client expectations. Those were some of the key things that I wanted to speak about before I move to a small case study. This has been the cornerstone of the work that we have been doing. We have engaged with this client across 900 plus projects over the last 10 plus years. We have worked across all the three operating models, varied pricing depending on the micro tasks, and we have used their tools. We've used our platform, and the volume is there, which is about 15 million transactions per month. Now, this is one of the sample case studies that I want to talk about because of the diversity of the work that we have done. We have several such projects. We have some exciting work that we're doing today. We have onboarded a recent project with Google, which requires us to work with a third-party partner, which is going to go live. It's under training. So we are really in exciting times. If you have any questions, happy to answer them. Otherwise, we can move on for a quick demo with Moti. Thank you. Moti, over to you.
Thanks, Satish. Good evening, everybody.
Moti, we can't hear you.
You're on mute, Moti.
Yeah. Moti, please unmute yourself.
Can you hear us, Motiraj? Motiraj, you'll have to unmute yourself, please. Looks like you're speaking, but we can't hear you.
I don't think he can hear us. Yeah.
Maybe someone can
WhatsApp
can
him.
call him or WhatsApp him and let him know.
Sorry for the technical glitch, guys, but I think.
DD, I think you're speaking on mute.
No, now I am back. So Moti, you are still on mute.
Satish, can you please call him?
Satish, maybe you can just give him a call. Can you hear us, Satish?
Satish, can you hear us?
No, I think Satish can't hear us either.
Swami, can you hear us?
Hey, Palvinder, I tried
Let me
calling.
call. Yeah, let me call Satish. Just give me a minute.
I tried calling him, but his line is busy. I'll try again.
Sorry to step in here, but yeah, I tried calling him. He seems to have put his phone away. Yeah.
No issues. No issues. I think he will come back. He will come back.
Yeah, in fact, he's just, he has got the two-factor authentication that he's trying to enter.
Okay. Now, Moti, can you speak?
Yeah, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, now finally.
You're audible, Moti.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience here. So as a gig worker, when you get inside the platform, so these are the options that you see. There's a home screen that helps you to get a lot of information on what kind of jobs are available. That's what is going to be shown here in news. And then we have the status that you can enable it and you can just keep it as active and inactive. And there are roles that you play. Either you are a freelancer or else if it's in tech managers, that will be a gig admin. So the two most important things for you as a gig worker will be, one is to look at task availability and the other one is the payment, whether you're getting all the payments right. So for that to happen, there are certain details that you'll have to fill in first. So when you get into the platform, so you first log into your profile and then you update all mandatory informations here. Everything is not mandatory. You will see certain PII data as well, but only for certain projects where there is a necessity, we do capture PII data. But otherwise, the more the information that you give, let it be on the experiences that you have, the certifications that you've done, the languages most importantly, because we have a lot of languages that comes in. And then there is the payment details. Now, how do you want to get this payment and how are we going to pay you, right? That's the most important thing from a gig worker, right? So here we have all the options, and then once you fill up all of these details and save it, your profiling is done. And then you can just get into the available gigs. Now, this is where you will see all the projects that are available to work. Now, there's a category here, and based on category, then these are the kind of work that you can actually pick up. It can be on Gen AI, it can be language services, or it can be speech, NLP, or it's even for math problem solving that was there, right? So once you see these requirements and you can click on the requirements tab here, it gives you information on what kind of work can be done. And if you are interested, you apply. So there is an NDA that you have to sign as soon as you click on the available gig. And once you click, now that becomes available to you in your applied gigs. So once it's available, then you can go through the qualification test and you complete the qualification test, which is mandatory, so that we know that you have the right understanding for the projects, and you start submitting these for the approvals. Now post that, you come to your earnings, where you get to see what is it that you have gained or what is it that you have earned in the last couple of weeks or months, and you find all of those details which will pop up here. And there are other preferences that we also have, where you can get alerts for your kind of work, right? There are a couple of things that we already enabled now, while the SMS and call facilities are not currently available, but these are in the roadmap, and we will find all of these sooner. And then there's a knowledge bank for each of the gigs that is assigned to you. And once you get qualified, there are training documents that are being shared, and you will be able to see them here in videos or as documents, right? And you can go through them multiple times. And then once you're comfortable with the documents and you've taken your qualification test, then you can start attempting all the tasks that's available in the gig work. And there are a lot of FAQs that you can actually look at to help you out with your onboarding process, or it can be with payments. It can be with the initial step on how to proceed with this platform and whom to contact and so on and so forth. And then there is a support that can be raised for any queries that is available. You as a freelancer can actually give your name, email address, and upload screenshots of issues that you have, if it's related to payment, if it's related to a work, or if it's related to any kind of a process clarification that you need. It can also be done here with a message and sent. So we have a customer support team that will respond to your queries. While all of this are from a gig worker standpoint, now as an admin, you will also have to see how is it that you can create the projects. So the only thing that you see here as a difference is that you'll be able to create a lot of tasks here, and it has a process stages that it has to go through. Now, you will find two kinds of work that we're trying to create. One is the in-house. When I mean in-house, it is the Populii platform that we use and create the tasks that are required. Now, the other one is through the partner network. So we do have partners whom we work with, and we integrate their systems with Populii so that we can access all the workflow tool. While the community is going to be with Populii, we have the work that is being executed in the partner system. And that's why you see the different options available here. And in this tab, you can set up the type of payments that you want to pay for the freelancers. It can be per gig, or it can be per hour transaction based. And you can set your budgets. You can upload all the contract details and so on and so forth. And the next important thing will be to understand the earnings part of it. So like we have it for the freelancer here, we do have the similar kind of a report that comes up for admin, and you'll be able to see it for the project. It's based on the projects, the earning start date, end date, the budget that has been utilized, and how much is available, and so on and so forth. So like Bharat already mentioned at the start, I mean, this is just the version 1, and you will see a lot of other features coming in. Like even Satish did mention that we will try bringing in a lot of AI interventions to distribute work properly and appropriately, because the more information that we get from a freelancer's perspective, that will help us to build a better system in terms of assigning tasks and making it available for them. So if there are any questions, ready to take it at this point, or can just give it back to Didi.
Yeah, so Moti, can we use Tech Mahindra ID to work as a gig? I mean, if we have folks.
So thank you. I will try to answer that question. I know people might have got confused because Moti used his Tech Mahindra ID. Please remember,
he's admin.
Please remember, Tech Mahindra people only can be project managers and who can create gigs right now. This is open only for family and friends. So right now we are still working through the internal system on the getting the Tech Mahindra people as a freelancers also on this platform. Right now it is only for family and friends, and for project managers who want to execute the work on this platform.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So while we are looking for more questions are coming in, I would request Balwinder to play the product video. And while Balwinder is playing that video, I will try to get each of these questions addressed to each one of the speakers. Thank you, Balvinder. So what we will do is there are some of the questions which we have already seen in the chat window. While we get those, I think there is already one hand raised by Rashmi, but if there are any more, please keep raising your hands and then I will get to you hopefully before the end of the time. So let me start with the first question. Satish, if you want to address Amit's question on what is the earning potential of this platform?
Sure. Sorry. So yeah, Amit, there are several parameters to it. One is obviously the skill sets required to do the work, amount of time you're going to spend on the platform. That's the key criteria. But you know, we have seen in the past that people earn anywhere around $250 to $400 in a month based on the amount of time that they have put on this, and that's an average number. And we are talking about largely work that is very simple. As we get more projects, more diverse skill sets, this number can go up much higher as well. But that's the average that we have seen so far.
So one more question, Satish, for you before I move to somebody else. How are we different from our competition in this space?
Okay, awesome. Our competition, as is largely working on, like I said, traditional micro tasks. And when I say micro task, it is simple things like annotation, simple things like doing modular code, which can then be assembled by somebody else. Simple design tasks like logo design, website design, and then some of the annotation, audio annotation. People want to collect accent-related audio for training. So those are all things that is generally available on other platforms. However, our our differentiator is we are attempting to do this in the business process functions. If you look at finance and accounting, if you look at sales and fulfillment, there are a lot of these processes which needs to be done in a contiguous fashion. There is data restrictions. And on top of that, it is possible to divide that into micro tasks, which are then SLA driven and so on and so forth. So this is a very, very ambitious journey that we are embarking on, and that's what differentiates us from the competition.
Thank you, Satish. Next couple of questions for Moti. So, Moti, if you are online.
Yes, DD, I am.
Okay, so one is, how does TechM community work on TechM? So will the community work on TechM infrastructure or customer infrastructure?
So we work on both the infrastructure, DD. So there are, like I did show in the demo, there were two types of work. One is the in-house and the other one is the partner. So the in-house is the TechM infrastructure where we use and we work. And the partner is where we use our customer infrastructure and then we work with them. So we use an API and get integrated with their tool, and that's how we access the workflows. And we work on both the infrastructure types. Yeah.
Okay, same. Just to extend that same thing, how can customers get access to this platform?
So they can also register into the platform, DD. So we do have an options for them. So they can also create the profile and then we get access for them as well.
Okay, so just to elaborate further, I think customers can become freelancers or gig admin in near term, but true self-service model is in the future and it will be on the cards. Yeah. So one more question from Satyendra Pratap Singh. Did we perform data labeling and data annotation in R&D department, Satish? Over to you. Satish, you are on mute.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that you're talking about R&D department for our clients. Satyendra, is that the question? Okay.
I assume so.
Yeah. So yes, we do. there is an example that we have done with a railway company. They are looking at automating identification of faulty parts in their moving wheels and the joints between coaches and so on and so forth. So yes, that's an R&D work that they're doing, and we have certainly partnered with them. That's one example. Even with the likes of high-tech giants like Microsoft, they were launching new products where they wanted us to work with their COE teams, um, which I believe is as good as an R&D team for them, where they were experimenting with different models to see the efficacy of how their model actually responds to the kind of annotations that we are able to provide. And that certainly, we can help clients even from a early stages perspective. Let's say that, for another high-tech client, we help with data collection, and that data collection goes and feeds directly into their R&D of what product to launch based on the data that they've collected in the domain. So the answer is definitely yes.
Definitely, we can look at that, Satish. We can talk to the person who asked questions and understand more use case details. Rashmi has been raising hand for a long time. Rashmi, if you want to ask your question.
Thank you. Thanks first of all for this presentation and demo. My question is with as of now, because if I'll say just to be honest, as of now there is no IP or there's no differentiator if in the first demo. But for the proactive one, is there any proactive approach which we are adopting in the future, where it's not like that people are coming reactively, but keeping in fact that niche skills will be a key in the coming up in the upcoming era. How I'm saying the Populii approaching the people when we are, is there any plan that you are having the APIs with the Indeed, LinkedIn, everywhere, and where we are going and searching and proactively reaching out to the niche skills and, involving them in our project, especially when it comes to the security, when it comes to the Gen AI or all these projects where the skill set is niche and, they can be shared in the secured environment.
Okay, Satish, you want to answer first, and then maybe I can add, or Bharat can add.
Okay, so Rashmi, you're right. So I think not only are we looking at integrating with third-party platforms, but we are also making a lot of investments within our capability teams. We are investing in generative AI COE. We already have a language lab. We're bringing on SMEs in certain domains where our clients want to go first, including math, science, and so on and so forth, apart from linguistics, of course. So we're certainly making those investments. In terms of niche skills, we have also tied up with third-party crowd providers to bring their crowd onto our platform. We are also working with clients who want to extend their existing crowd of in-house experts to support some of their products to help mature some of the work that's happening on the platform. So certainly, yes, all the things are all options are open. And in terms of the APIs that we are bringing, like you rightly said, the roadmap is vast, not enough to do on this call. And I will pause here if Didi, Bharat, you want to.
Let me actually,
Bharat, you want to?
I just wanted to, I beg to differ a little bit, Rashmi, with the term you use saying IP in this version. Look, it's not so much about IP. Like I said earlier, there are two important things for any powerful platform, and we, from a Populii perspective, are endeavoring on both. First is the experience for the participants in terms of opportunities, in terms of being able to contribute, in terms of being able to be paid or remunerated for that quickly and efficiently. Okay. So I think we're focusing a lot on creating an experience for the participants that's going to be world-class and markedly different from a lot of lesser platforms that are available today. Second is the opportunity landscape that we will provide them from a Tech Mahindra standpoint. So just the quality of opportunities that are available on the platform today. there's going to be a lot of focus to make that more and more diverse. I think that's the real IP. So I don't think we should look at. I think the statement that the version 1 does not have IP is not entirely accurate. Okay.
Sure. Sure. No, I was just looking forward that how we can attract niche skills so that, you know, all the gaming and other areas which are coming, we can start pledging over there also.
So we want to create this right now instead of a push model. We want to move to the pull model soon, but that means we will have to have community segmented, and we can start with our AI team and we can build algorithms together where we are pushing work based on somebody's specific skill sets. So that is the idea, Rashmi, overall. Now, next question, I think I
think John wanted to
sorry,
add.
John wants to add also.
Yeah, thanks. No, I just want to add, because I think the important thing here is like, this is a huge deal. This is a huge deal for you guys. It's a huge deal for the industry, and it's even bigger idea for the clients. You know, in the research that I've been doing lately, in the response to the book, everybody says, okay, we understand what open talent is, and we're ready to take the leap, but then how do we do it? And then what are the compliant, secure providers that we can use, that we can partner with on an enterprise level? That if you look at the thousands of platforms that are out there right now, every platform has grown from a technology company that's bottom up, that worked with small to medium-sized businesses, or even in the case of Upwork and Fiverr and freelancing.com have even been B2C. And so the ability to understand the complexity of working with enterprises is lost on so many of these platforms. And what's happened, and I think what's slowing down this whole movement, is the experiences that enterprises have had with organizations that aren't enterprise ready. And so I think this is a real step change for the whole industry, because you guys have such deep experience, as Barath said in the beginning, with security and compliance and safety that's critical now in this new AI-driven world for every enterprise. So bringing that expertise and then being willing to disrupt yourself and be able to jump into this new age, it's going to be paradigm shifting for this whole industry. And we see over and over again so many times that enterprises start down the path of doing work, but then as it elevates to procurement or higher up, people get scared off because the platforms don't have all their T's crossed and their I's dotted. And so I'm really excited. I think this is a huge shift, and Barath just and Satish and Didi just super impressed of what you guys have created, and really psyched to watch this journey. But I'm really positive about the future.
Absolutely, John. Thanks for highlighting the fiber part, because there it's gonna make the really change. We're gonna complete the whole cycle over there.
Yeah, thanks. So in the interest of time, what we will do is people can contact me or Satish, and what we will even do is compile all the questions and distribute the answers to everybody. But as we all said, this is just a first step for the Populii as a journey. And let's, with all of your help, we will make this Populii most popular gig platform in the world. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining, and let's crowdsource everything possible under our umbrella. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.